there, Mr. Moon?
No, I don't think so.
Yay.
Oh, Mr. Moon's I could be in there. Oh my
No. All right. I'm going to say hello and welcome to ArtFoamie Fun Friday. Robyn McClendon is here with me, and I'm so excited. I can barely contain myself. I'm
Me too.
girling all over her, but I
I
am.
love it.
We're just going to chat for a couple minutes until we see somebody. Megan! Yay, we didn't even have to chat that long. So Megan is the first one here, and I'd like to welcome you to ArtFoamie Fun Friday. As you know, we have a very special guest here tonight. Ms. Robyn McClendon is here joining me for ArtFoamie Fun, and to meet and be introduced to all of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You can probably tell I'm a little nervous and excited, so excited. But we're jumping on here. Lots of people. We have Wendy. Who else? Megan was first. She gets the gold star. Wendy is here. Patty Hodder, Karen Mooney, Deb is here. Carmen. Oh my gosh, Carmen, you're going to be so excited. I know already. You probably have followed Robyn for a long time, but we're excited, so excited to have her ArtFoamie stamps. Catherine is here, and Catherine just ordered a bunch, almost, I think, all of your stamps. I just saw her
Oh,
order. Mary Lynn
thank you,
Kelly.
Catherine.
Judy is here. Reenie is here. Dee, and she says, so very excited for Robyn's ArtFoamies. And I don't know, Robyn, can you see? You can't see the comments unless you look
Well,
up.
I'm looking at the chat. I have it here on
Okay.
my phone. I didn't want to be looking down because I
Yeah.
wanted everyone to know that I'm not looking down preoccupied. I'm looking down to see the chat. So just
okay.
know that. But yeah.
So I just want to welcome everybody. If I miss saying your name, please forgive me. You know, I'm so happy that you're here. And we are over the moon to be welcoming Robyn McClendon, not only for her to be visiting and chatting with me here for ArtFoamie Fun, but as part of the ArtFoamie family. And I hope that all of you have had a chance to go on artfoamies.com and see her new collection. If you have not, don't worry, we're going to show it to you. And so, of course, I will quit talking now and just say, welcome, Robyn, and thank you so much for being here. We're so, so excited if you can't tell already.
I'm excited to be here too. First of all, I love meeting new, artists and makers out there. So this is always a special thing to like just be in a new group of people. It's been amazing, amazing working with you, Kristen, and I'm looking forward to our continue work together. It's just been a lot. I mean, creating this has been a lot of fun. Sometimes things like this can be like work, like, oh my God, we got to keep on doing it over. But we've just had a great time. And I'm looking forward to getting to know you better and better. And so, yeah, I just have been a lot of, actually, just so everyone knows, this is my first time designing any stamps of any kind, rubber. And I mean, I did some rubber stamps years and years ago, like in the 80s, but so this was a new product for me, and so I'm here learning a lot from Kristen, and you guys probably know more about how to work with these stamps than I do. So I'm like sitting here taking it all in. She has amazing techniques that I would never have thought about. So this is exciting for me to learn how these stamps work and like how far we can push them to really just produce amazing imagery and also textures and images in our work. So yeah, thank you.
Well, I have to say a couple things. First of all, and I'm serious, I'm not blowing smoke. I would have never known that you had not designed for stamps or these before, because everything pretty much was like perfect. I couldn't really ask for that much more. I think I just kind of helped, like,
Yeah,
let's do this as a set, or let's do this kind of size wise. But
absolutely.
obviously your imagery translates absolutely beautifully. You talk a lot about mark making, using them, more as tools, which is right up my alley too. I love that. I love that you can, be so inspiring, and it can be Robyn McClendon inspired and Robyn McClendon even imagery, and yet every maker is gonna have their own touch and make it their own, which is what I love about ArtFoamies really in general, but especially this collection. So
Yeah. You're hitting it for sure. And it's interesting too. One of the things, and a lot of people who follow me know that I'm big on people creating their own papers, their own looks, their everything. And I think that what's beautiful about ArtFoamies and the other artist collections, as I've gone through and looked at them, um, you can take bits and pieces. You can, it's like a puzzle. You can take some from mine and some from yours and some from, some of the other artists, and literally put these different aspects of the stamps together and use different parts of them to create your own language.
Yeah.
Many of you may know that I call my whole system art mythos, which means telling your stories visually. And, we're all storytellers, but we're just doing it with images and stuff. And the more that you can connect to your own spirit of image and of language, the more you actually make your art your own. And then these types of products and what have you actually become tools, and they're no different than using a paintbrush.
Yes.
Or using, a gel plate or something. These are just tools and not the end all of the image that you're trying to go for. And so this collection was designed, they come out, they're inspired by a global ethnic approach. I have a tendency, my background, just to say this real quick,
Yes.
is in anthropology, and I minored in archaeology. So I'm always about looking at cultures, the similarities in cultures. I love the storyline of cultures. And it's amazing how we can have a symbol that maybe if we come out of the Latin culture, we see that, oh, that's a Latin symbol, right? But then you go out and you look out into the world, you go back in time and you say, whoa, okay, this was being used in Lithuania, and this was also being used in Australia, and wow, Papua New Guinea. And then you start realizing that there's a universal language to everything. And so this first collection was about that universal language, and just everyone finding something in it that they can relate to and pull out as a part of their own personal history and their own cultural history. So just to give some insight behind the collection.
Wow. It's gorgeous. I am dying to turn the camera around and show people, the line and a few I've stamped so that they can see them stamped out. And then I only really made one actual sample, but I'm excited to share that with everybody. Of course, we are also running a special right now. If you go to artfoamies.com and you type in Rare Birds 20, and we will put that up on the screen as well, you can receive 20% off Robyn's collection just through, I'm so sorry. It's through the third.
I think it's through Sunday, right?
Through Sunday night Central Time. Also, I would love it. Well, I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm going to show some of the stamps. And don't let me forget, I will forget. I have to ask the question for the giveaway at some point. But also, I would love to hear more. And I think everybody else would love it too. If, you would talk just a little bit about your background, and your fine art. And then of course, where people can find you and follow you. I know that you have a Patreon. So I know people would love to learn about that. I don't know. I know you're not seeing the comments right now, which, I'm
seeing some of them a little bit. I was looking at them.
I want to read to you, Robyn, your stamps are going to elevate the textural quality of your style. And people are saying they love the conversation. They love you.
Oh, thank you guys.
They're swooning. We love you all. So I'm going to turn the camera around. Nobody needs to see my face anymore. Oops, but they still want to see Robyn. Oops, wait, I can't do this now. Hold on. I thought I knew how. Huh. Oh, there we go. All right. So what do we have here? We have actually oops, wait, I'm sorry, my autofocus is on. I got to fix that real quick. So it doesn't drive you crazy the whole time, because it will drive me crazy the whole time. All right. So we have, how did it work out? It's actually worked out to be seven sets.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. 4 of the sets are, I don't want to say uniform because they're not exact, but they're about the same size. they come in, blah, blah, blah. I'm all tongue tied now. We have 4 sets that are 2 stamps per set. This one is called Organic Triangles. And each of these 4 sets come with a larger background that's approximately 4 by 6 inches, and then another little sort of bar or uh, um, what am I trying to say? Border
Stamp,
stamp.
yeah.
That is a piece of the same imagery, but it is not the exact same size. So it's beautiful for layering and for just fitting in if you want to overlap. Or again, you know, these are not about being perfectly crisp imagery, right? This is about texture and pattern and organic uh, movement, you know.
Yeah, things like that you would find in the past. That feeling, that sense of age is what I like. And so,
And a lot of your things are named and stuff after like earth elements. And don't you have something called earth code? Earth code
yeah, hearth code. That was a whole
stencils too.
workshop series that I did, and also it. Yeah, I refer to that a lot in terms of the basic symbols that go across all cultures. Yeah.
So, and this one, oh my gosh, let me see. I think everybody is used to me
That one I
forgetting
think
all the
is.
names. This one is is this Tribal Wave?
I think that one is tribal wave, and yeah, because the other one is our organic triangle, so that's tribal wave.
Yeah, okay. So Tribal Wave, and this one's I love this because it sort of also, this is the only one I think that excuse me, actually has this little bit of a board, you know, of a line.
Yeah.
All the other ones are more open, but this really reminds me of some kind of like beautiful cloth or
Yeah.
tapestry or I don't know. And then you have this other piece, again, a little bit larger, same imagery, but a little bit larger and a little bit more organic edges.
Yes.
And let you know,
And that is from a traditional um, North African textiles and what have you that go way back. So yeah, you're right with that.
so this, I'm going to pull out what I stamped. I have, and this will have to do with the little sample and some things that I've created, but stamped on just raw canvas. Well, this one is primed, but what I did to experiment with these, and I just had a blast. I have to tell you, I had spent some just quiet time when I got these in my hands, and I just took some of this flat canvas and I brushed paint, you know, whatever color kind of called to me. And then I actually used the big sort of blob of paint on my canvas to ink this up and then just move it around and then over stamp some of these patterns over the top. So again, this is organic triangle.
And what I like about that there too is how when you use that block to off stamp and stamp around, I like the negative space that was created
Yes.
on the big block over there on the block so that you got the reverse of the image. I like that.
Yeah.
Where it's real subtle, you know, it just made that extra texture without it being color.
Yes. Oh, yes. When it kind of removed some of it.
Yeah, when it removes it, I like that. Yeah.
Okay, so that again was organic triangles. This one is the Tribal Wave, and I
Yes.
did the same on all these, so you can just see the patterns and textures created. And then this one, and I think out of these, this might be my favorite. I am really, as you can see, in love with this one. This one is called Tapestry. And,
Yeah.
um,
And that is done after the that's representative of the art that you'll find from the Dogon peoples of Central Africa. A lot of times it's called, you know, it's been referred to as Kuba, Kuba cloth,
yeah,
and there's a gazillion patterns, and this is just touching the tip of the iceberg of the various patterns.
gorgeous. I love, love, love it. And so the final one of the 2-piece set like this is called Woodcuts.
Woodcut, yeah, and that's from a drawing that I did just using Asian sort of calligraphy marks. And then I went back and cut it out to create a woodcut. I did that a number of years back for some other work that I was doing for a book project. And when I pulled that up, I thought, wow, this would really be good and go with these other textures and sort of bringing in the sort of these Eastern, sort of feeling of line and stroke, but how easily they go with the North African influence, and just going to show how all these kind of, strokes and what have you can go together.
And talking about really what bringing it back around to really what you were saying. Now look at all of them together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and so I love it. Again, because they all just work. They're so rich, and that's what somebody was saying here, is that they're just so rich together. So I really had a lot of fun, just enjoyment, just doing this. And look at all of the sort of fodder now that I have created to use for journal covers, for oh my God, for just I do really enjoy actually creating collages with these cutout bits of canvas. So lots and
And
lots.
it's funny because I was reading I think it's Sharon who said, Gillickson said it would be wonderful to make some fabric and then make a skirt or a dress with it.
Yeah.
And she's so right, because, like, this really reminds you of block printing, which is how a lot of, Indian textiles are done, Asian textiles, South American textiles are done with block printing. And these are like, like the 20th century relationship to block printing.
Yes.
So absolutely, that's right on, Susan. I love that.
So
And Ginger Sparks is in. She said hi to me. I saw that
Ginger.
earlier.
I know. Didn't she win all those things yesterday?
Yeah, she was killing it. Well, she has all kind of gifts coming.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, so this another set, and this is sort of has a little bit of a funny story. Out of all of the ArtFoamies that we did together, it just I at the very end I said, let's just do one or two extras just to have something stand alone. And then she sent me these, and I said, oh, but they look so good together. Let's just do another set. So you have four sort of just little mark makers, and I have to tell, it's always sort of funny too, because you can never tell. You should never prejudge stamps. And I've had people tell me this lots and lots of times, of course, not about yours, but even just the simplest things. The other day I was using this diamond stamp. It was just nothing but a solid diamond. And, what I did with it, somebody said, oh my gosh, I would have never wanted that stamp at all or thought about it until you showed it. And I have to be honest, this was kind of the same. I did not love I love all your imagery, but out of all of them, you're going to have your favorites, right? You're going to.
And that's absolute favorite shape. I mean, I love that one, but it's funny. Yeah,
it is, because
we did something that looked like paste paper, which I would have never thought.
I don't have it now, but I just started stamping it. So this, out of all of them, was probably like my least favorite, right? Until I stamped it. And I just love the way when you turn it different ways, it is just so it doesn't look stamped at all. Because the way it can either fit together.
Remember when you were working this one, you said, okay, Robyn, maybe something with circles. And I was thinking, circles? Because I'm all into my geometrics. Maybe something rounded to stuff. Well, I know I got some circles over there on Hearth Codes, and then I showed them to you, and you pulled some stuff out. And even still, when you sent it to me, I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling these circles. But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go with it, because I'm wearing her T-shirt right now, because I don't know a lot about this. So you know your business better than me. And it's funny because now, to your point, one of my favorites are those circles. I don't like. All of a sudden, you could just use 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
You could use all of them. And when you start combining them together, the repeat pattern that you get stamping over, is just amazing. So.
Well, you know what else I love this for? I have to be honest. So Maxie Moon, my daughter, she just came out with some, just a couple. She has a zebra stripe or zebra /
Somebody just talked about Maxie Moon's.
And wouldn't this be so cute? This could be almost like giraffe or something too, right? So
sorry.
No, you could use it for giraffe spots if
Yeah, good, definitely.
And I only started thinking about that because she just did those tiger stripes. But anyway, so this too, Like people,
I love that
this
string
is very
pearl.
unassuming, but look at this, and it almost looks like Rick Rack, which I love, right?
Is
Rick Rack.
that what the blue is right there? Yeah.
Yes, this is called String of Pearls. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but we got another set of 4 little mark makers. They do have individual names, but I can't remember all the individual names. But this set is called Earth Marks. And
Earth mark.
Earth Marks, yeah. And these are the 4 patterns that it makes, which I really, again, enjoy. So those all being said, the last 2 sets are
Oh,
super. Oh my gosh.
I'm super excited about these.
Yes. Okay. So, Robyn will tell you a little bit about the actual text and how they came into her possession, and why we call the 2 sets From Paris with Love. You get this sort of block, or I want to say more solid, that stamps positive, leaving the negative space. And then we have 2 other sets that are just sort of scripty text, illegible, well, pretty mostly illegible, not, for reading, only for sort of that
The texture and the
innuendo.
suggestion of of scripting. These were I sourced these a number of documents, and these are just a few from that collection of
I'm gonna interrupt you just really quick. I'm gonna stamp. You talk about it, and I'm just gonna be stamping them while you talk. Okay.
perfect. Yeah. These came about 20 years ago. I was doing a show in France. I mean, I've traveled to France a lot, but I was actually doing an art show, and I had gone to the flea market there in Marché aux Puces up there in Clincourt, and just searching for documents, and I really hit the gold mine that day because I got a lot of documents, and so they're really big. I mean, actually, they're like on pages that are like maybe 11 by 14, and some of them are like sort of like documents that maybe came from sort of governmental type of documents, sort of things like maybe things like you think of like mortgages or like things that people had that were sort of contract type of stuff, let's say. And then the other ones were from a series called Prologue Amour. And when you looked at them, they were just like these love letters. And so I pulled from several of them, some of my favorite scripting, but all the script on them is different. And we did full swaths of script. So every line is different. None of the lines repeat. So you can just, use bits and pieces of them. You can use the whole thing, of course. And I like turning them and flipping them over top of each other and overlapping them. But yeah, they're designed. And the only one that is really, really legible is the one that says, well, this one's pretty legible. If you read French, you can pretty much read what that one says, but it's still kind of pushed to the background. And then the one that says 1787, it was just such a pretty scripted date. And that was the date on that particular manuscript from 1787. So I just thought that was nice to put that in there full on so that, you guys could appreciate it. And there again, you can just do one of the numbers. You don't have to do the whole thing. But yeah, so that's where these came from. And they're in my personal collection. So this is the first time that they appear outside of my collection.
Fabulous. So the From Paris with Love, 2 sets. One is, again, this sort of solid with the scripting that goes kind of all over. It does have the nice decal edge as well. And it's the only one that's a solid. The other 3, well, then you do get with this, it's these 2 together, I believe.
Yeah. I think
and then, so you can see how we cut them out so that you don't have a lot of a lot of blank overhang, and so that your edges will be a little bit more,
yeah, organic. I didn't want it to be the block. And the amazing thing about them is that though it may seem like those are little thin edges, they're very stable when you go to use just sections of them. I have to say that because that was one of the things when you sent them to me. I'm like, okay, let's hope that, and it's amazing how strong they are even with those those cutouts.
Yes, and I do want to say something while we have, while people are watching, and talk a little bit about the text stamps, okay? And this really goes for not just text stamps, but anything that any ArtFoamie, okay, that you buy that is very fine. And as you can see, they're, it's just fine, thin, sort of raised areas. This is going to be something that you are not going to want to smash, okay? When you go to ink it up, whether you're using, I was trying to use my Derwent stick here. It's not, doesn't work the best for these. I'm going to go ahead and maybe just to even take a little bit of, you could use a scrap or stamp buddy, and a little bit of acrylic paint or, a little bit of ink. I'm going to just take a little bit of acrylic for now. But what I'm trying to say is that you really, when you do these, you want to ink them or load them with your, ink or paint or pigment, whatever, very gently, okay? It's nothing that you want to smash or mush. A lot of times I will take my ink or my paint to the stamp this way, okay? And then when you go to stamp it, you're going to want to just really kiss the paper gently. Again, because you're not trying to get these full, crisp words, right? You just are wanting to touch that paper. And I might have even done it a little bit too hard on that. And, and with the acrylic, it makes
I like it like that.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying,
I like
you
that
can get
bleeding because to me it looks like the old documents, like you use a fountain pen or something or a feather pen, and you got that little over bleeding, and I like that. So I'm going for that kind of look.
Yes, and you can get, you can see how this is with ink, but really fine lines. It's beautiful. The detail is there. Maybe not in every single line, but that's not what you're after. So I'm just wanting to make sure that people know how. And then when you do clean these, again, I would just pat them gently and then rinse them with water. This is.
Let me jump in real quick and say I was reading the chat, and I think in the chat Jim had mentioned that those would look amazing on onion skin. And you're right. And then the conversation was like, yeah, they would. And then someone else said they didn't know what onion skin is. So that's why I ran out. And I'll show you as soon as I show it to you, guys are going to know. So it may be a little hard to see, but you remember that? Hear that noise? Remember that typewriting paper that you could really see through? Like you could really see through this, and you could see my hand back here. And it was that old erasable typewriting paper that you used to use a carbon. I mean, I don't know how many of us did, but we saw like our teachers and stuff using it. Because I think by the time we got to that next level, we weren't using them. But the point is that it's this paper, and you'll find still a lot of old documents sometimes on this paper. And then you sometimes will find it with the red rule in it like this. Now, the problem is that a number of years back, I introduced onion skin to do jelly printing on. And you could get a whole box of it. So sometimes a box will look like this. If you look in thrift stores or op shops or your Goodwills, keep an eye out because you can find them there, and you can pick a box up for like $3.99. It'll be like onion skin. They don't make it any longer like this, but you can find it. Now, the thing is, it used to be like a box of this of 500 I could get on Etsy or on eBay for like maybe $25. Now it's upwards to $100 because everybody started getting it, and it just got ridiculous. So don't buy it for those prices. But I have a link for something, I think it's called the Paper Store. If you go to the paperstore.com, they have an onion skin. Now it's not cockled, it's smooth, but you can get like 100 sheets for like $19, and you can jelly print on them. You can do this over stamping that Jim had mentioned, and it really is beautiful. And if it gets wet, it will cockle a little bit. But that's what onion skin is. So just wanted to be able to share that.
Super. Love it. Also, and some like, vellum or, like a thinner, maybe vellum would be fun, or even some of the glycine bags that ArtFoamies come in. That's
Yeah, you can play with the glass ink.
so. This is the last thing I wanted to show you because well, not necessarily the last thing, but as far as the demo with the stamps, again, this is the one. This is the original first one that Robyn sent me to make an ArtFoamie from. So, and it is the more solid one, but I do have some of the little strips. Now, this is 7-ounce unprimed canvas. Okay, so it is really raw. I really love it, and I've been playing with it a lot. I'll show you the sample that I created with it. But first, I do have a little bit of Derwent stick on here. You've seen me spritz it with a little bit of water. This is my water bottle. Give it a little spray. Rub a little Derwent stick right across it. Sometimes I do take my stamp or scrap buddy just to sort of burnish that out so I don't have any real thick spots of pigment there. But I'm just going to take my my canvas strip here, and you can just put it down, you know, certain spots. And
this is amazing. When you showed me this, I about lost my mind. This is just so good.
So look how
and just the reflections of that.
And yes, and you know, whatever color. I think it would be really nice to do in like a sepia or something.
A sepia, because it was a company, one of the craft companies was, remember they were selling rolls of this canvas with like a sepia script on it. But the thing about it, it was just too regular and it looked too manufactured. But you could definitely do that with these stamps.
Yeah.
And this canvas, like
let's switch colors and just do. I mean, you can just gush this up with different color. And I have you know, maybe some brights. I think, honestly, I'm not going to lie, I think that some more earthy tones would be a little bit better, but just for fun, we'll just switch out the colors and, you know, move through the piece. And, oh, I could do this for hours.
Yeah, I love that. And being new, like I told you, being new to the foam stamps. Oh, look at that. See, that looks so good.
Yes, right. Isn't that fun? So, and I want to show you what I did with it now. So I don't know of you, I told I was going to do this. I took a bunch of those strips, just like I just showed you, the strips of 7-inch unprimed canvas, and I used all of Robyn's ArtFoamies on them, and I started, I have to put this up, I'm sorry, it's making this basket that I was going to throw this basket away. It was just a wire frame, and I was like, oh, you know, it's from the dollar store. So I just took all those strips, did them all with Robyn's ArtFoamies and wove it on there. And I'm super happy with it. I think I'm not done. As you can see, I
love it.
But I think I might even take some like Mod Podge or something and fabric stiffener and paint over it and make it a little bit firmer. I don't know yet. Isn't that so cool?
I thought that was brilliant. When you showed that to me, I'm like, I have a few of those baskets. I should do the same thing. Because they really don't hold. It'd be great for paper and fodder and stuff, but they all fall through. You know?
Yeah.
The edge to the side.
Well, so now I can just put more. I just put
fill it up.
There you go. Keep all my ArtFoamies in there. Anyway, oh my gosh, so much fun. Yes, and then I wanted to show this to you too. I'd love to do this kind of thing with my scraps of a canvas and do what I call strip club. I did it with canvas instead of paper, and this is not Robyn's ArtFoamies, but don't you think it'd be they'd be cuter with Robyn's?
That is such a cool idea,
right? So, oh my gosh, Roy, how am I back? How am I? I don't know how. I mean,
what you say? What you say?
I'm having some issues with the with my
I think there's been a problem with streaming. I know I've had problems all day, and I noticed in the chat some people were saying that we were freezing at certain times, or when we were saying certain things, it froze. I just think we've been having streaming problems all day long.
Sharon,
all day long. I've been on several Zoom calls, and it's just been crazy.
Oh, well, it was weird. It was like my microphone all of a sudden was doing weird stuff. Yeah, she says the audio sounds like a kidnapper. It was weird. Like I was getting feedback, and I don't have anything turned up, so I don't understand. But anyway, So Sharon just says, I have one that I almost threw away, a basket just like that. Don't throw it away.
I know.
Yeah. So, all right, let me turn this back around. See if anybody has any other thoughts or questions at all. For Robyn, especially, not for me. You know where to see me every Friday. Go on over to Robyn's page and make sure that you follow her on Instagram. Rare Birds, right? On Instagram.
Yeah, on Instagram, it's Rare Birds, Rarebirds. My website is a hub for just about everything that I'm doing, and that's robynmcclendon.com. It's ROBYNMCCLENDON.com. And there you can find my art studio school and different offerings I have there. I have printables. You can find my Patreon stuff. You can sign up for my newsletter. I do a monthly newsletter every month, and I just shout out everything that's going on in the community, things that other community members are doing. Sometimes we feature artists in our community and stuff like that. So it's a fun newsletter, but just jump on that, and that's a good way to kind of keep up with everything that we're doing.
Yeah, and I hope everybody will, follow us both, because we do have some fun stuff in Patreon coming up in the fall.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So,
Looking forward to that.
So a couple things I just want to say. First of all, I have a question. I would like to, and remember, when you answer the question, you have to say answer and then put your answer. Otherwise, Maxie will not know that you're answering the question when she goes back through, and she's going to have quite a job because we have a lot of people here tonight. So make sure when you answer the question, you say answer first, okay? So I need to know if you learned about Robyn from ArtFoamies, or if you learned about ArtFoamies from Robyn. That's what we want to know. That's the question. If you learned about Robyn from ArtFoamies, or if you learned about ArtFoamies from Robyn. And make sure you put answer and then tell me your answer, and you'll be entered to win the demo pack tonight, which is going to include the stamps that I shared with you, and also not the basket, I'm sorry, but I will send you some strips of canvas, both raw and stamped up, so you can have fun with your own. Also, oh gosh, I feel like I'm forgetting something, and I hate that when that happens, because then after I'm like, I knew I should have said that. Anyway.
Oh, were you going to show about the difference between the store packs and the packs they get when they get them?
Yes, thank you. So many of you here know, because you've been following ArtFoamies, that when you order from ArtFoamies, directly from artfoamies.com, your stamps will come, oops, I got it. Well, I can do it this way. Your stamps will come in a glycine baggie. Might be bigger, might be smaller. It does have stickers of the artist and ArtFoamie stickers on it. If you happen to see them in a store, which we love that too, they will be packaged differently, okay? They're packaged in a clear, more plasticky envelope. And of course, the reason why we do it differently is we want to conserve on the plastic. Plus, this is more fun to use because you can use this in your art rather than this.
Definitely. I was excited when you sent me my first collection. We were just testing stuff, and they came in those bags. I'm like, oh my God, I got glassine bags. These are my daughter. I was like so excited about that part of it. Like, it's the little things that can impress me.
More fodder. Like, we never throw anything away anyway, right? I don't know, but
let me ask you something. And I don't know the answer to this question, and maybe it's something that other people will want to know. When you sent me one of the sets, you had like a file in there. What is that used for?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yes, I sent you an ArtFoamies file. So let me just show you really quick. Okay, you're gonna love this. So let me just find. Okay, so say this is gonna be. Let me turn this back around now. Oh, thank you so much for asking. So say I want to mount this to my cradle panel. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, I can use my soft gel medium. Oops, oh gosh, I'm making a mess now. It wasn't coming out fast enough, so I was being impatient.
Of course.
I'm going to go ahead and use my little scrap buddy to smush that around. Get it all the way to the corners. this is going to be great because now I'm going to have a little substrate to work on. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to smush some of my PVA glue right on here as well. And of course, I would choose the area that I want to, you know, adhere to the
panel, yeah.
But it's either way. I feel like most of this turned out pretty well, so. Okay, so obviously if it's really, really thick, and I would prefer if I had a little more time for it to dry. But, and this is a little bit thicker paper, so if you have like a, you know, a thinner, like a newsprint or maybe the onion skin or whatever, it might be a little bit easier. But this works great. I don't have to measure. I don't have to do anything, and I'm going to get such a nice, beautiful edge. And it really works super well if I just have a little piece, you know, that's sort of a snaggly.
I know what you mean. Get out of here. Oh my goodness.
So no,
I love that.
You know, I don't have to measure. I don't have to try to cut. And it's just nice because then you also get an edge that is more
right, like natural organic edge. That is brilliant, KP. I love it because I'm looking at this file and I'm sure like this is not one of those like little gifts with purchase. You know, I'll be filing my fingernails. And I'm saying, and I meant to ask you that for like several weeks now. That is brilliant. So I will be doing that. I love that.
The other thing that's
not doing a lot of measuring either. I just want to kind of get it on there and then figure it out.
Yeah. No, well, the other great thing about doing it this way is that you get this edge that's sort of like burn it. Like it's just a.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's it. And so this is my technique that I did ages and like so many years ago because I was I have my nail license for 20 some. Well,
okay.
I've had my nail license for years. So that's the reason why I thought of it. Years ago, we used to do nail wraps. Don't look at my nails.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
And then kind of file it off on the side.
Yeah, linen wraps, and it would be hanging off, and then you would just go boop, 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 and then it would just come off so nice. So I was like, well, that should be good for this too. And so we have ArtFoamie files.
Oh, I love that. I would be definitely doing that.
Yay.
I'm glad to ask because I'm like, I know this wasn't but I thought I would risk sounding foolish if you're like, oh no, Robyn, that was just a promotional gift to file your nails. I mean, I just thought it might be cool. That's
you can do that too. Once you get it all like dulled down, then you can use it on your nails. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
All right, my friends. Let me just say to everybody that joined us tonight, I thank you so much for, you know, taking your time to come here and to hang out with us and to, you know, watch us chit chat. And I hope that you learned something and that you had fun getting makey with us. I appreciate all of you so much. Yes, Wendy says it works as scrapbook paper too. So definitely, or, you know, even thinner, thinner papers and washi tape. I do it all the time. Anyway, so if you have any thoughts or questions, you know where to find us both. We appreciate you so much. Thank you not only for supporting artists, but small women-owned businesses. We both, I think I do speak for Robyn too. Just saying we can't imagine doing anything else, and we love spending this time with you. So
exactly.
All right.
Absolutely.
So,
couldn't agree with you more.
I hope.
Thanks everyone for showing up, and I look forward to continue meeting you around the various communities. So take care. Thank you so much for enjoying my product as well.
All right. Take care. Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful, safe weekend. And I hope that I will see you next Friday. Bye, everyone. Stay safe,
Bye-bye.
stay sane, and stay makey. Bye.
Bye.
I'm horrible at goodbyes.